What's up, fellow go-givers? Juwan Buford here with another small plate. And what I want to talk about today is a subject that relates to this ideal of keeping it real. Or I'll hear other people say it in another way, right? They'll talk about the ideal of radical transparency. And really, at the end of the day, what a lot of these individuals who speak to this or speak this way, what they're doing is emotional offloading. Now, look, here's the thing. Exampleship and leadership isn't always about just being silent as a ghost, right? Keeping everything close to the vest, but it is about being disciplined. And the bottom line is strong leaders understand something that most people miss when they become responsible for other people, and in particular, their mindset and their emotional state. And it's basically how information moves. It's not necessarily what's being said, but how it moves through an organization. And just as much as what the information is, once again, right? There's a reason why healthy organizations are intentional about how information and perspective flows at the end of the day, right? Good news should travel downhill because it reinforces confidence, clarity, and momentum, right? Bad news should flow uphill, right? So to individuals who can actually solve your problems, have the authority, the experience, the perspective that you need to bring clarity to challenges that may be happening or even guide the solution. It's not about suppression. It's not about hiding things and not keeping it real. That's what real leadership looks like when you're actually building a business instead of trying to win popularity contests. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. That was a bit harsh, but you get the point, right? When you share every frustration, when you share every fear, when you share every half-formed concern and you broadcast that basically organization wide and you do it in real time, the environment becomes reactive. People become unstable, unsure, they become distracted. It's the worst when people become distracted by another person's personal issues that may be transpiring at home. And eventually, you as a leader or that leader's personal turbulence or cacophony, whatever's transpiring, it becomes the team's operating system, right? And that's something you don't want, right? You can't build a foundation on that. So great leaders operate more like a duck in water, right? I've heard people say it like this. You look at a duck on the water, it's calm and it's steady on the surface, it's composed, right? But underneath the surface, those feet are moving a million miles per hour, right? Stabilizing direction, solving problems, protecting the team from unnecessary noise, right? And look, that's not dishonesty. That's just being responsible with the influence that you have. And it's just something you have to learn over the course of time if you're not willing to take the coaching from someone that's giving it to you right now. Don't dump your problems on the team. You have no plan. Don't dump your personal problems on the plan. You share issues after you've already created a solution or have already come up with a decision or some type of frame on how to address the solution. Doesn't mean you don't want to elicit feedback or solicit feedback, if you will. It just means you already have a framework in place. You don't want to come empty-handed, right? And come to individuals who, quite frankly, 9 times out of 10 don't have the experience and wherewithal to solve the problems. So look, the bottom line is we all know negative energy travels a lot faster than positive. I guess that's what I'm trying to articulate at the end of the day. And look, it metastasizes a lot faster too. So at the end of the day, as a leader, your responsibility is to manage morale. It's to manage timing and framing, right? Your team doesn't need your unresolved stress. You don't want to do that. They need clarity. They need direction and confidence that someone is holding on to the bigger picture, right? So be honest, but don't turn your environment into adult daycare. Be transparent, but only after you've done the work that leadership requires. That's exampleship. That's the price of leadership. Let's build taller buildings together.